Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the best A-rank W-Engines that you should be using in Zenless Zone Zero. V-Engines are basically equivalent of weapons and A-rank are basically 4 stars. In this video I will not go over Battle Pass weapons because they have a separate video for that one. Alright, so let's begin first with craftable A-rank W-Engines. Yes, you're able to craft some of them as well, which is pretty nice. Let's start with Street Superstar. This is an attack weapon for attack roll characters. It has attack percentage substats. Whenever a squad member launches a chain attack, you'll get up to 3 stacks. It's very easy to get these 3 stacks because any member who performs chain attack, like you start the chain attack, you have 3 of your characters perform it, slash bang boo as well, so you'll easily have the stacks. And whenever you use the ultimate from the weapon holder, you will get a nice damage boost, which is 45%. If you do get dupes of this weapon, it goes up to 24%, so then it becomes 72%. So with this weapon, basically, the attack character will do bigger, more bursty ultimate damage, but you do have to make sure that the attack character in the team is actually performing ultimates. Street Superstar is a decent weapon. If you have no other 4-star options, you only have 3-star weapons effectively. Slice of Time. This is a pretty good support weapon. It does have penetration ratio substat, which is basically defense shred. As for the passive, any squad members dodge counter, X special attack, assist attack, or chain attack respectively generates more decibels, so 20, 25, 30, 35 at 1 copy, and also generates 0.7 energy. What's very cool about this, although it has a 12-second cooldown, that each of these separate things has a separate cooldown. It's basically independent of each other, so by using this weapon, you will charge your decibels, which is basically the ultimate, much more faster. This is a great support weapon that you can use on all kinds of support characters, especially if you do not have their respective signature weapons. And even if you do, this is pretty nice. Of course, you can also get multiple copies of this and increase the value even further. 1.1 energy, yeah, it's pretty nice, alright? This is a weapon that's definitely gonna stick around. If you played something like Genshin, you remember Favonius series weapons, or even Star Rail with their Harmony weapon, meshing cogs. So this is a pretty nice weapon, and I think it's going to be relevant for quite some time, if not forever. Now let's go over the anomaly weapon, Rainforest Gourmet. This weapon does provide anomaly proficiency, basically more anomaly damage, which is very nice, very good. And also for every 10 energy consumed, the equiper gains a buff that increases the attack. It does stack up to 10 times, so it's basically a 25% attack boost. However, do know that each duration of the stack is calculated separately. You can also get multiple copies of this weapon and then becomes 4%, so it goes up to 40% attack boost. This is a pretty good anomaly weapon. We have basically only 2 anomaly characters, so if you don't have their signature weapons such as Grace or Piper, this is an excellent weapon you can be using. It does provide at least a good substat for the anomaly character, so that's pretty nice. Then we have Starlight Engine. This is another attack weapon. Substat, once again, attack percentage, and whenever you're launching a dodge, counter, or quick assist, it will increase the equiper attack by 12%. This weapon is very easy to trigger the condition to get the attack boost. However, do note that between Street Superstar and Starlight Engine, it highly depends how often is your attack unit using the ultimate. The less times they're using ultimate, I would say Starlight Engine would probably get more value than Street Superstar. Steam Oven. This is the weapon for stun characters. It does provide energy regeneration substats, which is pretty good, because stun units getting their enhanced skill, basically X skill faster, helps you at dazing more enemies quicker, that is, and also getting effectively them stunned faster. As for the passive, for every 10 energy accumulated, the equiper impact is increased by 2%, stacking up to 8 times. So effectively, you will have 16% impact boost. This is very nice because impact does increase the daze accumulation on a target, so you get to stun enemies even faster. And after the energy is consumed, this bonus will remain for 8 more seconds, which is also pretty nice. And of course, once again, each stack is calculated separately. You can also get more dupes to increase the impact boost further to make it 3.2, so that would be effectively 25 5%, which is pretty nice. It is a pretty decent stun weapon, but do know there is also another stun weapon option that you can choose for, which is Precious Fossilized Core. This one does not have energy regeneration substat. It gives you straight impact substat, so it helps you to stun enemies faster. As for the passive, when the target HP is no lower than 50%, you will inflict more days to the target. And when the target HP is no lower than 75%, the bonus is increased further by 10%. So effectively, this is decent at stunning enemies quickly, but I could see this being not as good on bosses, because bosses have large health of pulse, and when bosses are below 50%, you're not getting any passive out of this weapon. Personally, I would go with Steam Oven as your stun weapon of choice over Pressurized Fossilized Core, just because you can actually get more out of the passive. However, the stat stick of Impact Substat, it's pretty decent, but still, Steam Oven, I would recommend to choose this over it. Then we have Original Transmorpher. This is a defense weapon. Currently, the only defense character we have in the game is Ben. Substat is HP. Do remember that Ben scales of defense, so you're not really gonna get much usage out of this weapon for him. It does also increase HP more, and whenever the attack equiper is attacked, they will also have an impact boost, so they will be able to stun enemies quicker. The impact boost itself is useful, but the problem is the HP stats are completely useless for Ben. So technically, if you just wanted it to be able to use Ben to stun enemies faster with the impact boost, that's fine, but everything else is kind of useless. Now let's go over to the other anomaly craftable weapon, Whipping Gemini. This is an attack percentage substat weapon. Whenever a squad member inflicts an attribute anomaly on an enemy, the equiper gains a buff that increases anomaly proficiency by 30, stacking up to 4 times. So basically you get up to 120 at base. This effect expires when the target recovers from stun or is defeated. The duration of each stack, once again, is calculated separately. Basically, the anomaly proficiency is gonna boost the anomaly attribute damage, which is very nice. This will technically allow you to do more attribute damage with your anomaly unit. However, do know that Reinforced Gourmet does have anomaly proficiency as a stat, and the passive is an attack boost. Meanwhile, this one has the attack substat, and the anomaly proficiency is a buff. I would say that Rainforest Gourmet is definitely easier to use the passive that is compared to Whipping Gemini, because the effect will expire whenever target recovers from stun or is defeated. So with this one, you have to be much more careful with the timing, but the payoff could be large, all right? It's a pretty good weapon, nevertheless. And now let's go to the last craftable weapon, Bunny Band. This is a defense weapon, defense substat. The passive increases HP and also attack boost when they're shielded. I could argue this will work on Ben as well. The defense substat, it's good for Ben. It converts for him into attack for more damage, so it's all right. And also Ben does have a shield. However, the previous defense weapon that I talked about, the impact boost could be very relevant, because stunning enemies as fast as you can does help a lot through progression of the game. And now that we went over the craftable weapons, let's go over the 4-star A rank, basically W-Engines that are gacha. Like I said already at the start of the video, I'm not going through the battle bus weapons because I already have done that in a prior video. So let's begin with Demara Battery Mark II. This is a free weapon you also get at the start from playing the game. You can easily use this on Ambi. It's basically her signature weapon. It does increase her electric damage boost, but more importantly, whenever she hits an enemy with a dodge counter or assist attack, they will regenerate energy by 80% for 8 seconds. This is a very nice weapon for Ambi, because it does help you to spam her skill more often to stun enemies quicker, and also the impact substat helps a lot as well. This is definitely a nice weapon to use on Ambi if you still do play Ambi, and personally I highly recommend you do play Ambi, because stun units are very good to have for right now in the progression, and if you don't have Koleda or Lycaon, you definitely will want to have at least one stun in your roster, which would be Ambi. Then let's go over to the Vault. This is Nicole's signature weapon. It does have energy regeneration substat, which is amazing for her. As for the passive, whenever you deal ether damage after using an X special attack, chain attack, or ultimate, it will increase your entire team damage against the target by 15%, which is very nice, basically damage vulnerability. And also it will increase Nicole energy regeneration by 0.5 per second for 2 seconds. Passive gets of the cut. And also it will increase her energy by 0.5 per second second for 2 seconds. So this is a very strong, nice weapon for Nicole. Nobody else can really use this because no other support units deal ether damage as of right now. Of course, they release some future ether damage supports. You could use this, but this is very nice because it allows your Nicole to get her X skill as fast as possible, and also whenever she does her X special attack, chain attack or ultimate, boosts entire team damage. This is a very strong weapon, and if you have it, definitely use it on Nicole. Now let's go over to the Housekeeper. This is signature weapon for Corin. While off field, she will get more energy regeneration, and whenever X special attack hits the enemy, it will also boost their physical damage, stacking up to 15 times. This will definitely work the best on Corin because the way her X special attack chainsaw works, you're gonna be able to ramp up the stacks as easily. I don't see this weapon working that well on Billy, unfortunately, because he might not be able to get the stacks as quickly and consistently, because do remember that repeated triggers reset the duration, all right? So I don't think this would work well on Billy. Speaking of Billy, this would be his signature weapon. It increases the equiper physical damage against the target by 36% for 8 seconds upon hitting an enemy with at least 6 meters away with a basic attack or dash attack. So basically, this does work on Billy, but there are other better weapons that you could be using over this one, such as the Battle Bus weapon, which provides crit rate and stuff like that. Now let's go over to Big Cylinder. This is Ben's signature weapon. There's only Ben as defense unit, so realistically, you would only be using this on Ben. It has defense substats, which is amazing for Ben. Reduces damage taken, which is also pretty cool. And after being attacked, the next attack that will hit an enemy will trigger a critical hit and deal 600% of the equiper defense as additional damage. This is a very powerful hit, but do know that you have to make sure your Ben actually gets to counter. Otherwise, it's not going to be as effective, but even then, even if you don't have this weapon on Ben, you still have the craftable options, which are pretty fine. Now let's go over to Sogaku's signature weapon. Attack percentage substat also increases her ice damage by 15%. And whenever launching an X special attack, all members in the team get an attack boost for 12 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So basically an 8% attack boost. Repeated triggers reset the duration. Passive effects of the same name do not stack, of course. Do know that this is a support weapon, and there's not that many support weapons that boost your support damage, and Sogaku's support actually does damage. So if you have this, excellent to use it on her. Now let's go over to Roaring Tide. This is a anomaly weapon for anomaly characters. This is originally signature for Piper. Attack percentage substat. Whenever X special attack hits an enemy, one of the 3 possible effects will be randomly triggered for 5 seconds. This effect can trigger once every 0.3 seconds. The same effects cannot stack. Repeated triggers resets the duration, allowing several effects to be active at once. It will increase equiper attack by 8%, increase equiper anomaly proficiency by 40%, or increase the equiper anomaly build-up rate by 25%. This weapon is pretty strong even on Grace. If you happen to have this weapon in Grace, this is what I'm actually using on my Grace. The attack percentage goes really well for anomaly units, especially early game on, as you don't have much anomaly stats yet. And the passive itself is also pretty nice. Grace can be a bit sometime on the field, I would say, so you definitely can get this passive. It is a bit of RNG, but it's still pretty nice, and you have it. I highly recommend use it on Grace and of course on Piper. Now let's go over to Drill Rig Red Axis. This is signature weapon for Anton. Energy regeneration substat. Whenever launching an X special attack or chain attack, electric damage from basic attacks and dash attacks will be increased by 50% for 10 seconds. This is a very powerful weapon for attack electric units, and guess what? Right now technically we only have Anton as an electric attack unit, so I highly recommend you use this on him if you have it. Also, by having energy regeneration, it does provide him the ability to use his skill more often. It does synergize really well with him, and the boost is pretty nice as well, but do know that it has a 15% second cooldown. But if you're playing a rotational team comp with Anton, you'll get pretty much full value out of this anyway, so it's a very nice weapon. Now let's go over to Kaboom the Cannon. This is signature weapon for Lucy. Energy regeneration regeneration substat. The passive effect is extremely generic, and you could use this on other support units as well. When any friendly unit in the squad attacks and hits an enemy, all friendly units attack increases by 2.5% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. The duration of each stack is calculated separately, and each friendly unit can provide 1 stack of the buff. Passive effects of the same name do not stack, of course. This is extremely generic, so as long as your team scales of attack, which pretty much more or less they do, you can instantly get value out of this weapon. Also, it has energy regeneration substat, so it does help all support units to get their X skill faster. Nicole and all of those units can easily use this weapon, but I know that Slice of Time to be able to spam your ultimate faster is also still pretty damn good. But if you just want more attack boost, this is also a very nice option while still maintaining energy regen substat. So yeah, we went over all A rank W engines in the game besides the Battle Pass weapon, which, like I said, for the 3rd time, I'm sorry, it's in another video, so feel free to check that one out. I would say the weapons in this game are pretty straightforward. A lot of specific ones, but there's also generic ones, and the generic ones, I highly recommend use it and take advantage of it on multiple characters as much as you can. Of course, there's also the $1 pack that you might be interested in buying. This is basically a thing they do to get you to write your credit card, PayPal information on the account for future ease of purchases trick. But nevertheless, if you do buy this, the best weapon here would be the Vault, which is basically Nicole signature weapon. This will be the most value you can get out of this. Obviously, the Ambi weapon, you already have one. Corin weapon, it's alright, but I would argue that if you do play Nicole or you want to play Zuyuan Nicole in the future, the Vault is definitely an interesting choice to go for this one. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. I hope it gave you some idea how to go about it with these weapons. If you have any more questions about the game, feel free to ask me down in the comments below, or even better, do ask me on my streams. I stream every single day on Twitch/YouTube. And don't forget to like my video if you liked it, that is, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.